you.
Good evening and welcome to the October 21st, 2024 Selectmen meeting. The meeting is starting at 6 p.m. We will be heading up to the fire station to meet with our plowing contractor. No decisions will be made up there. We are just meeting because it's a new station. And the regular Selectmen meeting will resume at 7 p.m. here at the municipal building. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening and welcome to the Limerick Board of Selectmen's meeting for October 21st, 2024. Please join us for the flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have no minutes to approve tonight. We'll have the October 15th minutes next week. So is there a motion to accept the warrants?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? And would someone read the announcements, please?
The Budget Committee will meet on Thursday, October 24th at 7 p.m. The templates to be discussed are the Town Clerk, Deputy Clerk, and Elections. The Limerick's Park and Rec will host a trick-or-treat on Main Street downtown on Saturday, October 26th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. Come join for a night of spooky fun and delicious treats. The Select Board will meet on Monday, October 28th at 7 p.m. The transfer station will be closed on Wednesday, October 30th for the delivery and setup of the new compactor. The Select Board will not meet on Monday, November 4th due to the voting on Tuesday, November 5th. The polls will be open at the municipal building from 8 to 8. Absentee ballots are available. The Town Clerk and Tax Collector's Office will be closed on Monday, November 4th for voter setup. The Planning Board will not meet on Wednesday, November 6th. The next meeting will be Wednesday, November 13th at 7 p.m. The Limerick Water District will be holding a public hearing on Friday, November 15th at 7 p.m. for the proposed rate increase. The public is urged to attend. The information is available from the Town Clerk as well as on the town website. The Appeals Board has 2 vacant seats to fill. Please reach out to the Select Board admin if interested at 793-4475. As a reminder, if you're speaking at any meeting, please go to the microphone so everyone will be able to hear. As part of the hearing, a citizens policy, no personal attacks on any individual or firm, including town employees, town officials, or members of the public will be tolerated during any meetings. Please direct concerns about individual employees or town officials to the chairman of the Board of Select Persons outside the public meeting, and please stay current with town information by visiting www.limerickme.org.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me, Gil, before we go on, under the warrants, I know the legal bill was in there, I know we'll get to discuss that, but we need to make sure the treasurer is looking at the legal bills and paying any portion of that bill that is related to the lot sales out of those revenues. Because our legal account is gonna get overspent. But those bills related to those lots should come out of the funds before she puts them into the capital reserve.
Okay, good point. Would you be able to address that with Julie?
I will, I'll send her an email.
Okay, thank you, John. Okay, that being said, for department reports, we have Stan Hackett, CEO and Special Assessing Liaison to the Select Board.
Any new ones this week?
Good evening. And just to reaffirm what John was just talking about, we do, when we sell it, we do include the cost of the properties and any other expenses like legal in the sale. So the town does get its money back from those.
Okay, good.
I wanted to, we have a meeting tomorrow with Doug Shea at Alair Drive. They're going to start ditching and pitching the road and finish putting the one structure in and fixing the hydrant this week. They're hoping to get it paved before the colder weather comes, so they're doing a really good job. I don't have any update from Scott Paradis. Alicia and I have been working with Scott to determine. Scott did say that he thinks he's got enough in his budget, but he still wants to get his budget report from Julie before he speaks. I did manage to, or I should say we did manage to get some lines that are going to be put in front of the Pineapple House and in front of the hill coming down at the bed and breakfast, so to try and deter people from parking in those areas. Staples Hill Road, I haven't heard from Leamington. The select board didn't meet last week, so I intend to do it this week. That's what I had for code enforcement at this point. I'll let Casey get up and discuss the tax acquired properties.
Thank you for having me. We've got a summary for this week, and I'd just like to give you updates on the ongoing under contract properties. Map 39, lot 105. We have an extension until November 29th. I received an email this week with some suggestions from their lawyer about alternative options that would make it easier to clear the title. I've been trying to contact their broker to get more information on, he's suggesting that the town pay for a quiet title action. The town attorney has advised against that, but there was an alternative option that talked about a certain type of notice that could be delivered to abutters, so I wanted to gather more information on that to present. Map 41, lot 340, Edge Hill Road has turned in all of their proof of funds and deposit and is in the closing process with their title attorney. I haven't received any information that there's any problems, so I left them a message to check in. Lot 8 and 9 on Fisher, that's map 38. I have closing statements. That's closing on Thursday, and I have those here for you tonight to be signed. Lot 12 Rangy Road, we have an extension granted until November 22nd. The buyers are working on the approach of the previous owner to get a release deed from him to clear title. I left a message with them to check in today. I haven't heard back. Map 41, lot 232 in Arrowhead is in with title, scheduled to close on the 29th. I've left a message with them also to check in for title. 62 Washington Street, the buyer has submitted their deposit and proof of funds. I have lead paint addendum, I missed it last week, to be signed. And map 39, lot 106 Dog Road, I've received the deposit, the letter of application from their bank, and the buyer's currently just waiting for the appraiser to come to their house for their HELOC. On the market, we currently have map 41, lot 231 on Arrowhead Lane listed for $20,000. Map 41, lot 290 on Arrowhead Lane, which is a double lot across the street from that. We also have 2 lots on Sportsman, map 40, lot 20, and map 40, lot 8. We received calls on all of these. We actually had quite a few calls this week, and I was expecting more offers than we received. I was expecting offers on both Sportsman lots from a buyer. When I called to follow up with her today, she said that they had changed their mind and they're going to build on land that they already own. On Arrowhead, I received calls on that and Nob Hill Road. Most of the calls, buyers don't understand that when they're purchasing a tax-acquired property, that they're essentially purchasing the town's rights, and it doesn't clear the title. So after having that discussion, most buyers have declined to pursue it further. I think for now, I would leave the pricing as it is, but if it goes on for maybe another week, I may recommend a reduction because it seems to be a hurdle that people can't get past. I don't have any evidence to say this is the difference in value between a tax-acquired property and a traditional sale. I think we're all discovering that together. So properties with offers this week, I have The combined lots on Fisher, map 38, 4 and 5, this is the same buyer from 2 weeks ago, and who we counter-offered, and they have offered $50,000 with a deposit of $1,000, subject to the buyer performing a septic design within 7 days. This is a cash offer with proof of funds provided within 2 days. They have a clause in there which, in the future, I'm just going to recommend that we remove this, except on the quiet title lots that were assumed by lawsuit, which these are. Closing date of 11/15. I would recommend accepting this offer, as I think we have proof that the titles are insurable, is shown on lots 8 and 9, which are closing this week. Map 42, lot 272, King Hill Road. This is 4 combined lots. We have received an offer for $30,000 with an escalation, $2,000 over the next competing offer, up to $40,000. There is no competing offer. The deposit offered is $3,000. This offer was made subject to the town doing some actions, which I think is a little bit problematic, including providing a survey, which is possible through the Registry of Deeds for Lake Arrowhead lots, but a soils test and septic design and permits. It just talks about the town doing these things, and I don't think that's in the town's ability to do, or should they do. This is a cash offer with proof of funds provided in 3 days with a November 15th closing date. On most of these offers that have come to fruition, I've had long conversations with their real estate agent. And in this case, I think that this agent could have benefited from a longer conversation. I would recommend a counter offer if the buyer wanted to make their offer subject to soils test, septic design, and permits, that they should be obtaining those themselves. So I would recommend a counter offer on those terms. Map 12, Lot 4, Quarry Road. The offer that we've received is from the abutter. I received one other call on this property. The other call wanted me to ensure that they could definitely build a certain type of house on the property, which I could not do. So they decided not to offer. The offer we received, our asking price, which I think is important to note here, is $25,000. The offer we received is $3,500 with a $500 deposit, no contingencies, with a proof of funds provided for the cash, and 11/15 closing date. I would recommend maybe for the board just to engage this buyer, as they are maybe one of the most likely purchasers, with a counter offer. On 140 Parsons Field Road, when I typed up the notes, I was still expecting an offer on this. I received a number of calls, both from 2 abutters and probably 3 or 4 other people. Most of the parties declined to offer when they were educated about what a tax-acquired sale means. But I was expecting an offer from this buyer who does understand that. I would expect that if this is this will be on the market in the continuing week, that we may receive an offer from them next week. So I think in terms of action, would the board vote to accept the offer on map 38, lots 4 and 5?
I make a motion to approve, we accept the offer for map 38, lots 4 and 5.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
On map 42, lot 272, would the board agree to counter-offer this offer with the buyer performing their own contingencies?
I make a motion for map 42, lot 272, that we counter-offer with them paying and doing their own contingencies.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Do we have any feedback from the board about a potential counteroffer price for map 12, lot 4 Quarry Road? Could I make a suggestion?
Please do.
I would suggest counter-offering at $10,000.
Look for a motion to accept, to make a counteroffer.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? 2, okay.
Do you have feedback on a different price?
Well, I just would like to know, I mean, I've spoke with Stan, and he says that it's not a buildable lot, so.
I thought it
I
was.
mean, I think it's in question. I think to really determine if it's a buildable lot, we would need some type of survey work to be done so that we can ensure that the building envelope is big enough for a viable structure. I don't have any ability to do that from a tax map.
I don't see it on.
I thought last week we determined that it was a buildable lot.
Potentially from the
Potentially,
tax
okay.
map, but there's no
Yeah.
way, the tax maps are not accurate enough to say like what's actually there when it's a matter of, you know, you're looking at a square lot, you can see that there's plenty of area.
Yeah.
But when we're looking at an oblong shape, there's maybe a little section here, but we don't have anything to prove that. If I had some evidence to prove
Yeah,
that, I
yeah.
think I could make a stronger case for it. But I don't, without doing a certain amount of legwork, I don't have the evidence to prove it. So when a buyer asks me,
Yeah.
can I definitely put a single wide mobile
Yeah.
home
I
right
understand.
here? I can't say yes. I can say maybe, but you need a survey to do that. Well, you do a survey? The survey might cost as much as their
Oh,
offer.
absolutely.
I'd like to, I mean, you said you had somebody else that was interested if they could build a house on it.
Yes, if I could guarantee that that would fit, and I couldn't. So I'm open to whatever the board would like to do. I think I'm just making a recommendation based on those things.
We voted on that. Do we need to discuss to make some changes on it? Can we rescind that?
Rescind what?
The vote to do the counteroffer, we voted.
So we
We voted with the price. I'm sure we could change the.
voted for a counteroffer.
Yeah, we just need to change that.
Somebody can make another motion.
Okay.
So I do want to reiterate that last week I also did say that Michael Donald said that the property wasn't worth that much money. So he estimated between 6 and 8 and possibly 10, but he stressed the fact 6 to 8,000. So.
I got a question. Is it being taxed as a buildable lot?
And again, I don't know if it is or not. I'd have to ask Mike. But
If it was carried as a buildable lot, could a variance be given for a setback reduction?
they would have to approach the appeals board to do that. So there is a process, it's allowable. The other thing, just keep in mind that this is in a butter, and the main purpose is to get it back on the revenues, and this particular property has been town-owned since the 1930s. So,
So it's assessed at $9,700.
he made a mistake on that. He didn't say
What do you mean, on the 9,700?
No, initially, when I had looked at this lot, I had looked at this lot a couple of months ago. He had it assessed at $56,000, and I came in to ask Dan about that because it seemed to me that it would be a difficult lot to build on. Stan had then talked to the assessor about it, who thought that he had made a mistake and that it should be assessed at a lower value.
I make a motion to accept the offer on map 12, lot 4, Quarry Road.
Accepted as it is.
How many houses will be built once that goes to the person who wants to buy it?
I don't know.
We need a second before we can have discussion.
Yeah, well,
Second.
Okay, now, discussion?
I don't believe any.
No, the
Potential.
person who wants to buy it owns a lot of land behind it.
Yeah, I mean, he has 40 acres.
40 acres. So
And
he'll
he
get a
has-
lot of road frontage.
He has 40 acres with very, very limited road frontage right now.
Right, so he wants to build houses. How many houses?
40 acres, and he's gonna have, I don't know, 700 feet, I mean, it depends how far he wants to go. I mean,
Correct.
40 acres could put him 15 houses.
I think you could.
I mean, he could do that now with a road if you want to put it, I mean, he could, if I put a road in, he could do it anyways. There is one house on the property already.
There'd be that much more land protecting that water across the street.
I mean, I know the tax map isn't perfect and you can't 100% go by it, but I think if somebody did, you know, maybe not a complete survey, but if somebody really went down there and walked it, they might find that there is a,
Maybe it was difficult because there's not really straight lines.
yeah. It goes from 25 feet there. And that's gotta be, if that's 25, that's gotta be 50.
Just a little more.
Okay, well, we do have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion before we have a vote? That said, all in favor? Opposed? Nope, the opposed get it.
Should advertise it for another week?
But it'll still be on, yeah, if we don't accept the offer, it's still,
Yeah, would the
It's
board
still
like to
listed?
just table it and
keep it listed.
keep it listed?
Yep.
One more week? All right,
Well,
well, that's what we'll do then. Oh, do you want to vote on that?
We did.
Table it?
Oh,
I make
So
a
if we
mo-
don't accept any of the offers, and we've already offered it to be listed, I don't think we need to vote again.
Okay. For new properties, I have, three. I have map 38, lot 106. This is Raptor Ridge Road. These are a combined lot. And I would recommend pricing this in line with our other combined lots. This is actually a pretty nice lot at $25,000. Map 42, lot 288. This lot is a very steep drop-off from the road. It's a single lot. I would recommend pricing this lot at $15,000. Map 42, lot 297, is a relatively gentle slope uphill from the road. This is on the corner of what would probably be right now, a paper street. It's on the corner of Claymore and Highland Road, which isn't built all the way through. I would recommend pricing this at $20,000. Would the board like to vote on accepting the listings for these?
What was the Raptor Ridge one, map?
Raptor Ridge is map 38, lot 106. It's combined. It's 2 lots right there in the middle. I have a map here too, if anyone else would like to see it.
I make a motion, we list the lots with the recommendations provided by Casey.
Second.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
As long as it's germane. Okay.
Steve McLean, on the Parsonsfield Road lot there, I talked to Stan about it. I think it's in the best interest of the town that we ought to have a disclaimer on that lot. There could be some hazardous material in there. I don't know what you guys have for an opinion, but that's an awful mess. And the previous history of that thing, I think there ought to be a disclaimer. We're trying to sell this. Okay, so something doesn't come back and bite us.
Does that help for me?
Oh, yeah, no problem. I'm just trying to protect the town.
We have disclosed in the listing description about a massive amount of debris.
Yeah.
But also in our offer instructions, the buyer acknowledges in section 26 of all of our purchase and sale agreements that the property is sold as is, where it is with all debris. And provided with that information.
But at one point, Stan can elaborate on it, that it was deemed something else.
From a real estate standpoint, that is the disclaimer.
Okay.
And that covers the town.
I mean, it's,
That's just subject to, just put it in bold print. Yeah. A bunch of times.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we've
On
never.
this particular property,
That's
it's
right.
not only in the public remarks, the internal remarks, but also the offer instructions.
Okay, no, I'm just saying, just because that's a unique piece of property
Yes.
with a lot of history. So, that's something that ought to protect us.
Ah.
Okay, moving on to old business.
Can we stay on that for a second? Because Stan brought up Alair Drive, and I just wanted to touch base. We all received an email about difficulty with the trash pickup, the door-to-door. Is there any way to, I mean, is it reasonable for us to reach out to Mellons and see if with the updates to the road, we can get them back out there?
I think it wouldn't hurt to reach out and see if they could maybe take a drive around to see, I mean, the road has been cleared a lot more than what it was a year ago. It is a lot more open. But I think in that email they said something about their trucks aren't.
There was something about not being able to turn around.
Yeah, and the trucks aren't designated.
They can run the whole circle. I think.
Yeah, I drove down there last night just
Back in
to,
touch with them then.
even before that email, just to take a look. And
well, I think since we have a contract too, I mean,
I would say once it's paved, they have to do it.
Right, is it a town road yet?
No, we'll have to accept it, but they go down through Arrowhead, those aren't town roads.
Agreement is to go up and down.
So they do go on other private roads, so once it's paved, I think we can tell them that they,
And it's getting the base coat of pavement this year, right?
Yes.
so, I don't know that I would, time to do it now. The road itself is no different or better than it was 2 months ago, the road itself. I mean, I know they've cut some brush and stuff on it, but I think once it's water, we should email them back and tell them once it's paved, we will make the request of Mullins to go down there and
Yeah.
remove the trash on a weekly basis.
Thing, so Stan doesn't have to stay, is, do you mind doing the Town Hill Grill liquor license? Stan has, there's a
From new
letter
business.
attached to it that requires, it doesn't have to be a public hearing. I like Stan, you don't have to stay for the whole meeting. I still like
Mine too.
Only, Gil does it, sorry.
Oh.
'Cause it's
Wait till we're all done looking through it.
It was fun watching for a second, but, it's their liquor license renewal.
And we don't have to have a public hearing.
Stan, go to the podium.
We did it for all of them.
The Select Board has received a liquor license renewal for the Town Hill Grill on Main Street. Checking with the state statute, under Main Statute 28A MRSA, it allows the board to waive the public hearing if there has not been any complaints or any activity, negative activity, such as police reports. There is no complaints verbally or written, and there has been no known police activity at the site. So it is up to the board if they choose not to have the hearing and go ahead and approve. Apologize, that was Vermont. You can approve the renewal.
Do we have a local ordinance on that?
I'm sorry?
I know you said what the state statute says, but I don't see it here. Do we have a local policy or ordinance with regards to that?
I do have the state statute on my desk for,
What is
Do we
that?
have a local policy?
no, we do not have an ordinance.
Local one?
No.
I suggest we stay with, we've had the Peppermill renew every year. I think we do a public hearing.
I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license for the Peppermill
For the Town Hill Grill.
Town
Hill Grill.
Hill Grill. Sorry.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Opposed?
Any opposed?
But yes, that, the licensing ordinance that's being voted on, that would be part of that ordinance. If it was accepted, it would be falling under that, but we do not have an ordinance yet. So, and thank you, Alicia, for the special treatment.
I'll start talking next time.
Okay, we'll sign this after the meeting. Okay, next item under old business is to review the legal accounts. We did have a bill this week with Ben McCall billing for 8.5 hours and Natalie Burns billing for 3.5 hours. So I believe Ben, a lot of that has to do with the properties for sale and such, so. Okay, then the cemetery mowing and Veterans Cemetery Committee, there's nothing new this week. The Brick Town Hall update, there will be no new update until November. The shelter survey is discuss the mutual aid agreement and sign it, which we have here.
Does he have that? He has that, yep. That just is like a so that we work kind of in conjunction with York County, and if we have any people that we need to be able to send to other shelter locations, we can do that and vice versa.
So is there a motion to accept and sign the disaster mutual aid agreement for York County?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay,
Is there any updates or anything that anybody wanted or could add to the shelter survey from last week?
I did have a meeting with, Vinny and Ray. He's finishing up, a lot of it is measurements, how big is the room.
I did have a few.
Yeah, we already had some stuff, so we just wanted to make sure that we get it all finished, and then we can get that signed and submitted to them. I think we've come up with a pretty decent plan. In the future, what we want to do is create, like a policy or like a best practice type thing, so that, you know, when this comes up, the process is smoother. And specifically, like when we have big storms, we need like a standard operating procedure to respond to those. So we'll work together on that.
okay, thank you. And any update on the squad truck? Do you have any of that, John?
Yeah, we've been approved to get on the site called Gov Deals. We'll get together with Vinny when he's available to get some pictures, and we do get it on. We'll also advertise in the shopping yard and put online that that truck is for sale through that site. So if anybody local that doesn't happen to see that site will have a chance.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item is to update Microsoft Exchange email, and that's not happening until December. And then TRIO training and payroll, the first meeting is November 7th. And budget 2025 update, discuss the town manager template. Yes.
Exchange email is what you folks have agreed to install here. That's a Microsoft product. And to administer it, that is not Modem Wave's job. Their job is to install it, make sure it works. Administering it will be done by an employee of the town of Limerick. That employee needs to go to training before December, whatever, just so you know, or that employee won't know how to begin. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you said before when? December?
Probably before we roll it out.
Reasonable. Do we have?
Do we have an employee in mind? Alicia?
Well, I mean, I'm happy to give it up.
So Alicia's in charge.
So I'm just looking to see if there is just some type of training through Gmail. Hopefully it's like a webinar, something.
Just YouTube some videos.
I know. Yeah. So, I mean, I have used Gmail, but I'm not like comfortable enough to say that I could fix somebody's email if they call me. It's not working at that moment. Just have a little bit of investigating or training on it, so. I will.
So you'll be looking for-
I'm just,
yeah.
I started looking, see what I can find.
Okay, and we'll go back to the town manager template.
So Katie and I met on Wednesday, we came up with some numbers, in the template, so wanted to bring it back here for discussion. I did attach the, general summary of job description and gave you the, pay salary that Wendy had given to us.
So this number is on average, like,
Yeah, it's a little, well, yeah, I mean, the payroll thing is a little bit higher than a few, it's lower than some. So
Okay.
we felt like it was kind of a
Reasonable starting point.
to discuss.
and then, just a question, what would be the need for a stipend for that position? They have their salary plus a stipend?
I don't remember.
If the stipend is $6,000 for health insurance, is that why that number was used?
No, it was because the stipend is 6,000. We were referencing something.
We were referencing stands.
Was it Stan's? I know we were referencing another budget, and it made, obviously, if a stipend doesn't make sense, that's reasonable. I know his position would be a salaried position, or their position would be salaried. It was just in an effort to generate the budget.
No, yeah, I was just,
Yeah, I think without the stipend, personally, we should increase the salary.
I guess I was just like,
We could have been looking to, yeah.
like with a stipend, like I feel like normal, like the constable's a stipend, for example.
That's, yeah, what it is.
That's their pay for that position, so I didn't know if we needed to have that in there for a reason. I'm new to this, so I was just wondering if there's a reason that we have that as a stipend plus their salary.
So if this is going to be if this is going to be the budget for that person, they are either going to want health insurance and or take
Yeah.
the option.
So leaving
So
that,
leaving this, I would take out stipend and put in,
6,000.
put in medical insurance of $6,000. I don't see where this person's gonna have $5,000 in supplies above and beyond what,
Well,
I know you're just picking them, I know it's not easy.
no, I
but-
think the first year was just, obviously, I think a big thing for you guys is where are they being housed in this building?
That's the other piece we gotta figure out.
What's their-
So the supplies include like desk and
desk,
chair and,
computer.
So one time, all right, so that's one time,
At one time.
okay, that makes sense. Yep,
we
So that's-
probably, the budget for advertising might go up as we determine more, that the town manager would do, but 250 seemed reasonable.
And we thought maybe seminars this year would be
Higher.
less moving forward. I mean, the first year is a little trickier.
Yeah.
Until that-
so is the 250 for the town manager to put out ads?
Yeah, as
Yeah,
well.
if we
Yeah,
needed it.
So like for, if there's any, I mean, they're advertising if it, I guess, there's anything specific to that they, I mean, it could.
It's, I mean, we have an advertising budget,
Yeah,
I think,
so maybe-
okay, yeah, leave that
so
out.
either way, I mean, that's, giving a little extra is not an issue. I mean, it's not,
Definitely agree supplies is more, but again, I think it's like
Yeah.
the first time.
has anybody reached out to MMA and asked them what their cost to help us with this process would be?
I don't remember my budget folder, we got, I'm happy to do that. I
No,
don't remember that amount.
we put the
Well,
10,000 in as like a,
I know, I think
guesstimate.
that the charter commission,
did they?
they definitely reached out.
Okay.
They had conversations with MMA.
So maybe check with Dave and see if he has. If not, reach back out to MMA and see.
So I almost think that was a close average
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that, the first year of them doing the process.
And we put that on the potential budget for the town manager, but we have to recognize likely if it's approved in November, that would be a cost this year.
Yeah.
So you've got 82,000 for salary.
Yep.
Now, are you thinking that's the yearly salary?
Yes.
Okay. So for this year, I mean, I would leave that 82,000 in there,
Okay.
but theoretically, I mean, if this person, the earliest they're gonna start, If this gets voted on, yes.
November, couple weeks.
I'm sorry, we don't have to wait till March to, well,
There's a whole hiring process, and that's not gonna,
that's not gonna go away, but the question
that's what
is,
he's saying.
do we have to wait till March
The budget.
for the budget to be approved before we can even consider bringing somebody on? I mean,
Now, what if the budget doesn't get approved?
I think we could certainly start the process with the anticipation of telling somebody it's
March.
contingent upon
Date, yeah.
the budget being approved, but either way, it's gonna be 2/3 of the year, not a whole year.
So we,
So 82,000 gives us 100 plus in a full year.
so we just need to prorate it.
So either we leave that, or we prorate it.
Well, I think it depends on when your plan is.
But my question is, if the charter is voter approved, can we really say we're hiring someone maybe if the budget then is also approved? I understand we don't have the money, but that's a lot of maybes.
I mean, we're allowed to spend
Yeah.
3/12 of the, of the prior year.
Right, which we didn't budget for a town.
What's that? We won't have a prior. We don't have, no, we would end up,
Well, a good hiring committee would probably take that long anyway.
I think it's gonna take, 90 days is not
Yeah.
a lot of time.
No, right, especially
So-
the time of year that you're talking about.
Yes.
Holidays.
So,
Probably works out, so we need to prorate. I think we should prorate the 82,000.
Is everybody in agreement on that amount?
Bring it down to like 62?
No?
62.
Take it down.
I'd guess so too, give or take a couple
I
hundred.
just, I mean,
I don't think you can go any lower than that.
you definitely go lower. I mean, I've,
We're citizens, but.
I know we have a lot of people that are saying that this job's gonna be a lot of money.
Mhm.
I don't know how to, I mean,
There's towns around us that are paying over 100.
well, that's, my question is, a job of this professional magnitude in Maine, whether we like it or not, whether we think it's a lot of money or not, is $100,000 unreasonable? I mean, is that's, I mean, I hear people talking, and I heard a guy earlier tonight saying how much he made, it was well over $100,000. And I'm not saying he doesn't do a good job and work an awful lot, but he does. So, I mean, it's not hard to make.
I think the assistant in Portland makes 100 and upwards of 140. Yeah, but
Well,
it's the assistant too.
I mean, is,
I think it depends on,
Put 60, you ain't coming back next year saying, hey, we shortchanged ourselves, we need another 40. So you might as well leave it at 80.
if we leave it at 80, that 80 we know is a partial year. That allows us, if we leave 80 and we know it's a partial year, that gives the hiring committee, because I don't want to say, I think it's important everyone knows that I think this board ought to put together a hiring committee. It's not this board going to be
no,
hiring this person.
right.
We need to invite citizens in and
Yeah.
other employees and take care of, everybody has a say. I just don't know that in this day and age, I mean, people come in all day long, they want $50 an hour. I mean, and they're not managerial, I mean, it's not,
Bachelor's.
I mean, at least, yeah, I mean, it's not,
That's how they do it.
Maybe you're gonna have to do one of those things down there, entice somebody to stay.
then we have to buy it on their own. We need to pay them enough so they can buy it, how about that? Even better, let's pay them a little extra, set them right up.
Jeez,
No, I mean,
Is it a yearly thing? Is that the plan?
the contract or
Well,
the,
that's okay, if you're going, is it going from March
Every
to
3 years.
January or March to March?
that's,
I think it's a 3-year contract, right?
Well, they can do whatever they want. I mean, to me, I think it would be, if the hiring committee were to listen and want some advice, I would give it a probationary contract through the end of the year, assuming we had hired somewhere, March or April, having a probationary contract with a new one to start January 1st. And then, get it in for the first of the year, starting the following year. So we could do a probationary contract to start, and then go from there.
So, that makes sense. Leave it the way that it is. But consider that as just like 3/4 of a year. You'll notice the note at the bottom. If we have a town manager, I would think Monday through Friday, I know there's salary, right? Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, or whatever. Do we need a cell phone? Is he gonna be somebody that we are gonna need access to outside of normal business hours?
I think so, yeah.
Should definitely,
Yep.
you were right.
Worst comes to worst, they can always have my town cell phone, because I've had that for 2 years, and I received 1 call on it, so. And we can put my personal up there. I don't know, it's in my car.
We still need to
I guess
finish
there's
up
more
the,
calls around angry voters.
Okay, do we need to vote on this at all, or is this just,
it's, yeah,
Budget template, but this was something on that.
yeah,
and it's just depending on the vote next month, so there's nothing
So
permanent.
from there, you'll just want to, in case of the job description and
Yep.
everything else we need to email them.
okay, well then, moving on. We've got review the melon contract. I guess there's been some changes that have been made, suggested.
I would say take it for the week, because I was just, Joanne, she took it, I sent it to her, she had some things I changed on. So this is the copy of that, and I emailed it back to her again.
All the changes are in bold? No.
The changes itself were, some of the things that
Some things crossed.
we
Yeah.
took out, I strike through, those things you'll see, but
Okay.
some like that said like the bid process, the way that, so we included the exhibit.
Okay.
For the special town meeting, the way that was handled for this.
So we'll review this and come back?
Please, I
Yeah.
would like to see that happen.
And that's what we'll do.
Thanks, Alicia.
So exhibit pages 1 through 3, is that the same as we have now? So the first thing is the contractor must pick up from the side of all roads, both private and public in the town of Limerick, all combustible trash, refuse, and transport the same to Eagle, Maine. That's in the contract now? So he can't say he's not going down
Alair Drive.
Alair Drive, he's gotta go down Alair Drive even now.
Well, I agree, I mean, I think that's why I was a little taken back by that email myself, but.
We originally received that in July, so we definitely need to respond to that
I
citizen.
mean, this is, I mean, we need to respond to the citizen, but
Also getting,
we need to figure out who, who dealt with Mellon on that and where did this come
I
about?
think the email itself sounds like
they just decided.
citizen emailed Mellons, and that's what they got back from them was, we're not doing it because of A, B, and C.
Well,
I've
the-
been down a lot of roads in the hero, or worse than there.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't seen that email before, so.
Yeah.
I,
So I
Yeah,
think
that's
we need to let Mellon know that that loop has to be done even now, before it's paved. I mean, it's in the contract.
yeah, there's not any big changes, we didn't make any big changes.
just removing the stuff that
remove some
was in there.
things that made sense, strike through, some words that had to be corrected.
Some of those small campers, they send small stuff.
Yeah, they go over that one time and they come out, so,
And then they put it,
yeah.
they may have had trouble on the way it drives there, turning the big truck around.
It's a loop though, isn't it?
Goes-
It's a loop and it's still pretty wide. Because they said it was a turnaround.
Yeah, but during, if it's money and all this stuff, they didn't have to bring the big truck, they'll send a small truck.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe it was like in an off season.
Could have been poorly plowed.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was
It
just,
wasn't plowed very well this
no,
winter.
so, yeah.
They didn't go all the way around, the meeting.
Okay, well then, moving on to new business. We've got discuss COLA timeframe. I think,
Sorry, but do you want me to reach out to Mel and respond to that email?
Yes.
Just to,
Somebody.
I think we should respond to the email, but if you can reach out to Melons, that's great, yes. It's addressed to Bill if you want to respond to it, or I can.
yeah, well, I did see it had my name on it, but it was addressed to the whole board, so,
Okay, I'll respond to it.
okay, thank you. Okay, well, then, discussing the COLA, I think this came up in the budget meeting Thursday, about whether we are going to make this effective January 1 or everyone, or wait until March.
So if you weren't at the budget meeting, it basically, right now, what our treasurer normally does once the budget passes in March, goes back and figures out what everybody didn't get paid from January to March for COLA increase, and does a lump sum check. So the recommendation, do we just start at January 1st for everybody, because that's when it starts, and have her do it that way?
Yeah, I think where COLA is, we voted that that's something that's going to happen, they're going to get the COLA. I think we ought to do that in January. I think the other thing came up, if there's merit raises, that would be a different thing. That has
We get voted on
to wait until March.
until March. But this is something that's already, it's approved, it's a policy, like it was in our personnel policy. But like I said, our previous treasurer has just gone back from March to January and figured out the difference. So it's deciding if you want her to do that or starting in January.
I think starting in January would make the most sense for sake of ease.
Yeah, why don't you make a motion?
I make a motion, we
Start COLA?
start COLA on January 1st.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? I think that makes a lot of sense. So, all in favor? Any opposed? No? Okay. Next item is discussion of new FMLA law going into effect in January 2025.
This was how does the town want to do the percentage? The 1% that the state is now mandating, it's a new law.
Did we all get a
It's
copy?
the 1%, their paycheck for FMLA. So you don't have a choice, but you were going to talk about if you wanted to split or the town would pay the 1%.
Yeah, there's an option to make that a 50-50 split between the town and the employee, or whether the town would take the whole 1%.
But it's not an option that we have.
But it begins, the withholding for that begins January of 2025. But the the benefit starts the following year.
Till 2026.
So we're spending a year, taking care of administrative costs and possibly funding it, so.
So we just need to know how you guys want it administered.
I make a motion the town pay the 1% for the FMLA state of Maine requirement.
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Gail?
What is the cost of this that you're putting on the taxpayers of Limerick?
We have to determine that by calculating the 1% for each.
I think you should wait to
Budget.
vote, so you know what you're voting on. Okay, and and the other question I have is, how many employees of the town of Limerick are citizens of Limerick? Just asking. Okay, I think it should be split, personally. I know in private business, a lot of things are split. Sometimes they're 80-20, sometimes they're 50-50, but it's shared. And I don't know that we should put all of this cost on all of the citizens of the town of Limerick. Now, maybe it's only 5 cents on the dollar, I don't know, but I'd like to know the cost. Thank you.
Do we offer any sort of disability already? Short-term, long-term? Nothing, just the medical insurance at this point? Okay.
And how many weeks is this benefit?
This is all, this whole program is put up by the state, and I believe they are allowing up to 12 weeks. I don't know that we know how it's, they have said that we have to contribute, and it's a, excuse me, contribution that's made to the state, I believe. So when the person takes the leave, I don't know who pays them. I'm not sure how they get,
The town, I don't know.
well, I mean, I don't know if the state,
I don't think the state knows that yet.
so the state's gonna have the funds,
And the town's gonna then pay from.
and then we have to offer up to 12 weeks.
Going to pay those 12 weeks?
Is the state gonna pay the 12 weeks?
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody knows that yet. I think what they're saying is starting January 1st,
Yeah.
you start giving us money.
Yeah.
We wanna get a pot of money for 1 year,
Yeah.
and then a year later, we're gonna implement the program that's gonna allow up to 12 weeks of FMLA.
And a salaried person is going to get FMLA and a salary from Limerick, or no? A salaried person who gets this leave, and I'm not sure what that means, how they get it. If they're salaried, are they going to get paid by Limerick and get the FMLA?
I can't speak, I don't know why we would pay a salaried person that's not working if they're taking a 12-week leave. I mean, a salaried person doesn't mean that they...
I wouldn't get it at my day job, I'm salaried, yeah.
I mean, companies that salaried, if you still have to come in and do your work.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we would pay anybody that's not coming in, especially if we know they're getting paid through this
If somebody
program.
is sick today, don't they get paid if they're salaried?
If they're sick, well, they have...
If they're sick or
they have
if
sick
they're
time.
out because they break a leg for 4 weeks, don't they get paid? They're salaried.
Well, salary doesn't mean you automatically get, I mean, if they automatically get that money for the whole year, if they don't ever come in. I mean, if we have people at salary, that doesn't mean they just get paid if they don't show up. They have to work. And I don't know of any place,
Well, I know, I use my PTO, I don't get my salary.
people don't salary, I mean, if you either take sick time or...
Yeah, sick time.
Well, what's Limerick's policy right now for PTO? For salaried people?
Unpaid leave?
No. If they break their leg, if Judy LePage, salaried person, breaks her leg and she's out for 6 weeks, does she get paid? Is that PTO? And does she have 6 weeks of PTO? That's a pretty basic question. I think the policy should be reviewed, maybe. Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second as far as that. Do we want to defer this till further review, or should we go ahead with the vote?
We can get the information and then come back next week. It doesn't,
Okay, let's defer till next week and see about getting more information.
What do you want to have?
The kind of price to the town, ballpark price to the town, of contributing 1% of everyone's pay.
You know, we'll have to kind of just
We
base
should
that
know how I
on
can
current payroll, and then figure it from there.
See if I can break it out.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't hurt to have it.
Okay, next item is to discuss personnel policy on insurance. I think some of that discussion had to do with the stipend for people who are not on the town's insurance. Whether we were going to continue that, or make it going forward that any new hires do not get the $6,000. Either they would get the town insurance, or they would not be able to get an extra $6,000 a year for not taking insurance.
So, if I'm remembering correctly, the reason that was in there is because we do offer it to our full-time employees. We pay the cost of their insurance. If they opt out, it is to help cover the cost of insurance that they seek elsewhere. What it said in the policy, or says currently, is that we will pay them, was it $600 a month?
500.
Thank you. And so we just want to, I think the idea is to just change it to up to. I don't think we should take it away entirely, because we do offer it as a paid benefit to our full-time employees.
Yeah, I think the other part of the discussion had to do with whether this is to reimburse for medical expenses, and whether people would be required to show proof of expense to be reimbursed, rather than just a straight $500 a month check. I think that has to do with the policy, whether it's just a stipend, or whether it's a reimbursement.
And we do this because it's kind of a paid benefit that we, like, the people who are on the town insurance, they don't pay.
We cover the premium.
Okay.
Then they're responsible for whatever their policy says they're responsible for, so.
And so this is for people who opt out of it, they get the $6,000 a year.
Yes, and so I think, I apologize, because is this changes? Is that what this is? An update to the policy?
No, it's
Okay.
not, that's what we have now.
Thank you. So I just think we should change it to up to $600. What we have in the policy now that's not being enforced is that they have to have proof of other insurance.
If they're proof of other, yes, and I don't think we've been doing any
We
of
have
that.
not been doing, as far as I know, I'm not in the office, but, right. So that we need to get on top of that, and then we do up to. So we only cover the premium cost. It's a lot, it's not gonna be a round number for every paycheck. It's gonna
No,
be
yeah.
some
I'm
more,
just-
but.
I asked about this at, once again, my day job. If they pay 100% of my health insurance is paid through my day job, and if I were to opt out, would there be any incentive? And they said, if you don't take insurance, you don't take insurance.
Right.
I got told, it is what it is. If you don't take insurance, we're not going to give you extra money.
Right.
So I don't know if the town wants to do that because we've always done it. But I think that's like one of those things that we're paying that we could save some money on. $6,000 a year. I mean, I'd have to look at the numbers. $6,000 a year to the people who don't take insurance with us.
$2,000 a year.
We already save money
And it's
by,
28 for what we pay.
I mean, I guess if they weren't taking our insurance, it would be a savings, but. the cost to cover them.
I think we need to have the treasurer put out a notice to all employees that are getting the $500 a month, that before they get their next check, they must show proof of insurance,
Paying, yeah.
as the policy states. I think we should leave it in place, but add that any new employees after January 1st, 2025 get up to $500 a month. I think it's unfair to pull it out when we've offered it this long. If I recall, it was a town vote to pay it. It was part of a warrant article way back. So the townspeople approved the $500 or the $6,000 a year per person. I think we leave that, but change it to up to $6,000 based on what the person is paying, and emphasize that they must show proof of
Other
current
coverage,
coverage, current
monthly.
coverage.
It has to, it's in the policy though.
Okay, an example, if somebody's on Social Security, they're basically paying just a very small amount monthly, something like $82 that comes off of their Social Security. So there are, is that all that we would be offering? They're not paying, so would we just pay them back for what they're paying?
For new people.
Or for existing or anyone?
No, for existing people, it doesn't say that. Existing people says you get $6,000 a year,
Okay,
but you must show proof of coverage.
right.
So if they're getting away for $82 a month, congratulations, they get us for $418. I mean, that's
So going forward,
going forward for new, I would say for anybody newly hired after January of the next,
Yep.
it would just be a reimbursement for actual cost.
up to 500.
Or it might be 82.
It might be the $82.
Yeah, okay.
I just think it's fair to pull it away from people that have been getting it, and it's there now, they've been, the people voted it in, so.
So we're just amending it?
Yes.
The policy?
As a social security person receiving, it costs $174 a month per person when you're on Social Security from Medicare. And then you have 20% of the bill that you have to cover somehow with another insurance if you want to buy that, and that's a couple $100 more a month. And then they have improved in 2025 the insurance. So $500 is not going to go very far even on for a retired person working here. They're going to consume that pretty quickly. So I agree with you, John.
The answer to your question from earlier, Gail? Our personnel policy states that anybody that needs FMLA, and there are reasons they can get it,
Yeah,
one of them would be if they broke a leg,
yeah.
12 weeks unpaid.
Currently.
That's the current policy, unpaid.
Unpaid,
Now, if they have accrued sick days, or they have
whatever.
the PTO, whatever the
Is that EPL?
EPL, unpaid leave,
They can use it up.
Don't earn EPL.
they don't.
But a salary position would, right? So then,
Elected positions don't get,
Elected officials, they don't.
they don't get their unpaid leave, so they wouldn't have it. So that if, I'm assuming if the town clerk or tax collector went out with a broken leg, they could leave for 12 weeks unpaid,
Or they could use their vacation.
or they could use the vacation, or they're sick, but they don't get their unpaid leave.
So in this case, those people would benefit from FMLA, correct?
They would, assuming the state says what they're going to do.
and from their FAQs, they don't have anything that talks about reimbursing on the FMLA yet. They're just talking about between now and the time.
So we have to take the 1% from them?
From the employees?
Well, from someone who does never gonna get.
Yes, because they would be entitled to it
Yes, they
through
would.
through the state, so they would.
Yeah.
Well, then the state will not.
And we're not taking it from them, I mean, you know, and if, I know every penny counts, but
It's a,
if our payroll's $500,000,
Exactly.
it's $5,000 a year.
No, I know,
It's not, the 1% is not,
They can increase their salary,
excuse me,
when they increase their salary.
for what reason?
FM.
If they're losing 1%.
it's up to them to put through.
It's, no, that's why I recommend the town just pay it. That was my motion, but it's not gonna come out of their pay.
Did we actually take a vote on that?
No.
No, we didn't, because we decided to put it off till next week.
Oh, okay.
So, for sure on the personal, Paul, can you tell me exactly how you want to amend it then? What you want, for sure.
I think keep it the same and effective 1/1/25 will be reimbursed up to $500 a month, right? $500 a month for, or after proof of medical
Yeah, upon,
insurance, you know, a way to put, like, they're gonna get reimbursed the dollar amount up to $500 for what they pay for health insurance.
And that would be for new employees. We're
Yeah, so I just.
grandfathering.
Any new employee after 1/1/2025 shall be reimbursed up to $500 per month upon proof of existing coverage and cost,
monthly.
monthly.
You'll use your word magic, Alicia.
And it could be as easy as, like, if they have insurance elsewhere, they pay a monthly premium, or it's deducted from their payroll, we could just.
Is someone emailing Julie about asking her to do proof of insurance?
So I'm going to change that to, I make a motion that we instruct the treasurer not to issue any $500 monthly reimbursement insurance payments unless the person requesting the $500 shows proof of the current insurance, that they have current insurance.
I'll second that.
No.
Nope. As of
In the
right now.
policy right now, they have to show.
Now,
So but we haven't been checking to see if people have it.
yeah,
So now we're going to
verify.
Require it.
make it that we will not, I would go as far as to say, if a warrant goes out with a $500 payment, some proof of insurance should be in there for us to see.
Each
So
month?
are they part of it this week?
I don't know, it comes out once, it's once a month, I mean,
I
it's,
know, it should be around the same time, that's what I'm just.
yeah, I think she does them the first of the month, every month, so.
If you look at payroll, I think they're part of it this month, or part of it this month.
But before it's implemented, we should notify the employees that are receiving that now. That
Yes,
that's gonna-
that they have to, that they, yeah.
Not just the treasurer, but each of the people getting the
The
500.
treasurer should notify the people, because she has the list, she knows who's getting it,
Right.
she should notify them.
Motion in a second.
All in favor?
Yep. Thank you.
You can't call for a vote.
I wanted you just to.
Okay, well, the next item is to sign abatements, which we do have a few.
Oh, look, you put Steve on here today.
You just typed in my agenda.
Are they abatements for Mike?
Yes. I think there's a couple granted and a couple that.
So I'll look for a motion to sign the abatements as presented.
I plead the fifth, Steve. I plead the fifth.
I would personally like to put those off till next week. I know that, I'm sure other people are in contact with Mike, but at least once a month when he's up here, I try to sit with him And in the past, he's gone over all these that he's either denied or approved and explains his rationale. So if one of these taxpayers were to call any one of us, or me, I'd like to at least have some information on why he approved it or denied it. So I'd prefer to wait a week or till the next time Mike is here.
Yeah, he was here this past Thursday.
Okay? Excuse me? We've only approved so far, a couple. If, based on his recommendations that are here, less than $600 we would lose on the ones that he's recommending that we approve. I'm more concerned with the ones we deny. And I'd like to just...
Sit down and have a discussion.
Yeah, I want to just have, the information's here, but I'd like to be able to...
Well, in the past, when you've done the meetings, you guys sat up there and said, it's value wrong.
And it'll say it on here, but we want to have a deeper conversation with,
Yeah, but it's nice to read that.
yeah.
I mean, here's just one out of the blue. He says that the abatement application did not provide evidence of the true fair market value of the property, so there's no basis to determine overvaluation, which is probably what they all say. Some of these get into more detailed, where people have given examples of other spots, and he's debated between them and, so I'm assuming we will approve all of his recommendations. I would just like to wait a week before we approve them.
Okay, we'll defer that. And with that, is there any hearing of citizens?
I know, so would I. We need to have a council meeting.
So happy to say they had karaoke there last Friday night. So it was a good step forward going down there. But, there seems to be some more underlying problems. I think the disturbing thing is, I've had a couple of talks with Stan, that a letter was delivered to Mr. Harrisburg at 8 a.m. on Friday, notifying him that he was given 48 hours to respond. Right? There in itself, I think, is a big problem. On a Friday morning, giving you 48 hours puts you in the Saturday, possibly Sunday. And, I think for somebody to get a letter like that saying 48 hours is wrong, I don't think there was anything life-threatening going on that would require immediate action. So, given that, I think there should be a little more leeway when somebody's going to get into a business, hand them a letter and say, you got 48 hours to respond. Just really kind of...
Well, let's be fair. You can stand there and say 48 hours, but you know just as well as anybody, this thing's been going on a year.
Oh, yeah.
It's been going on a year, so don't say they surprised them with 48 hours. After begging, pleading, fighting, arguing, and saying they're going to crack down on him, a year later, they now said, we're going to crack down on you.
Well,
And he has still refused to do it.
okay.
So it's not, Stan and the fire chief didn't go down there and say, oh, you got 48 hours because we just found this thing today. He's been bucking them for over a year on this foolish backflow preventer.
Right.
And it's the...
Well, it's interesting, I did a little investigating in it, and like down at the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, they don't have any backflows, okay? The only time any of the government facilities, federal facilities, use it if they have foam in the building, in their sprinklers and stuff, all right? So feds don't do it, but we're doing it, but that's fine.
Well, you have any backflow preventers in any of your buildings?
All 16 of my buildings have
Have backflow preventers, you get them tested once a year?
Twice a year.
Every town in the state, there's a reason for it. right? The water sits in those pipes, stagnant, nasty forever. If it happens to end up in the water lines, then people are gonna be drinking, we have enough trouble with the water. To have nasty water come from somebody's sprinkler system that's the reason for it. And the water department requires it.
So all right, so we'll go along with that, all right, but, Friday at 5 a.m., so he's trying to call contractors and people to do this stuff, right? Well, he's not gonna get a response on a Saturday or a Sunday, okay? That's my point to the 48 hours.
For a sprinkler company?
No, it's had nothing to do with sprinkler. You gotta have it all engineered, so you're dealing with an engineering company to do this, so Saturday, Sunday's out, okay? That's my point.
I know if my backflow preventer goes at work, it's the responsibility of high-tech fire protection.
And what did his letter say?
Installation of a whole system.
What did his letter say? It didn't say you have 48 hours to rectify it. It said 40 hours to respond with a plan in place.
Right.
So he could have said, on Monday morning, I will be calling my sprinkler company and making arrangements for them to have this fixed within X amount of days, so.
Right. And I'm sure that's what he did.
He could have done it.
He's in communication with the code enforcement officer, and that's what he's working on.
Right, but still, he didn't give it within 48 hours, he did it today. Okay, my point is, it's over the weekend, the guy's 90 years old, and boy, we've harassed him for a number of years. Okay, we'll go on.
What do you mean he's been harassed for a number of years? You stand up there all week after week and say stuff that just simply isn't true. He's been harassed for years and years where? Because he's been asked to follow some of the rules and regulations?
No, over the years, John, all right, we've gone down there 20 years ago, the fire department, and said, hey, you gotta clean the boxes up, the escapes, and done inspections, you know what I mean? And he always did.
Yeah.
And I think...
So asking somebody to follow the rules and regulations is, you saved it for years?
We ought to do it town-wide though, okay? Brady had a comment last week there about, having the license and all this stuff. But we were in the fire station for 3 months without a backup generator. Okay, so what happens if the power went out? Right, we lose all our communications. The doors are powered, they can be put up, but it will take you a week to get a door up manually. But I'm just saying, it just seems like we're picking on different things. We've gone now over a year with the parking up on Main Street. I mean, Stan called this morning, it was great. He says, yep. He said, they're gonna go up and stripe that up, but why did it take a year? We're just...
They put up signs, they put up lines, they put up signs, the signs haven't worked. Now they're going to stripes, and maybe the stripes might not work.
They may not.
This has taken a year too. The other issues have taken a year, this has taken a year too.
All right. The other thing is that, some of the businesses, and I'm sure Mr. Harrisburg got it in writing, were told that the place would be shut down. And Stan, I talked to Stan today, and he said he did get a call from one of the tenants down there asking, should I find another place to be? Well, for a business that employs 60 people, and I talked to Carroll Material today, and believe it or not, they have 60 people. So we've got 2 major employees in town, 60 people. Now, these people, they go to the supermarket. I mean, they spend a lot of money in town. I don't think that was a good way to approach it, whether it's in writing somewhere, but whether it was said or not, they were going to shut the building down. All right, and now all panic is set in. I don't know how many tenants are down there, but there's a lot. But just the 60 people trying to think, oh, where am I going? What am I doing? And everyone knows, it's month to month. Money's tight, and if something closes there, we got to find another place. Where are we going? I think that was poorly handled, and that thing, and that affected a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people I've talked to and they've called and said, is it true? I says, no. I said, they're not. The intent wasn't to say we're shutting down the place, okay? But evidently that word was used, okay? And I know Mr. Harrisburg has stuff, in writing about that. I just think that, cooler heads. He's been here that long. We've had 4 or 5 fire chiefs since he's been there, and every once in a while they get down, they'd crack a whip and say, hey, Bob, they got to clean up. There was a time all the trailers were out back that we couldn't get a truck out back. So they went down and said, hey, Bob, look, get these trailers out of here so we can drive out back, all right? I mean, he's always been good to that. I mean, he's got other buildings that he's had in different towns, And, they crack the whip, they go and inspect every month, tell them there's a light bulb out and this, and that's what they do. But I think the threatening stuff that's gone on here the last month, it's just not good for a business, a building that supports 60 people working, okay? That's my take of the thing. I think there's other ways that we should be doing it, and I think probably one upsetting thing today that I was told is that there was a call made from this office building to Mr. Harrisburg's insurance company. Now, you guys ought to investigate that, because that is just something that's just totally off whack. I know if somebody from this building called my insurance company, boy, there'd be a nice lawsuit going on, okay? That's just preposterous. It was verified by Stan, too.
And somebody from here called
Mr. Harrisburg's
insurance company?
Yep.
How would they even know whose company is? I'm curious.
I guess it's all on the thing there.
And do you know who made the call?
Yeah, I'm not gonna reveal it. I think you
Well,
guys...
why not? What are we hiding? You want everybody treated fairly. If somebody did something,
Treating you fairly.
did the call from, you said Stan knew about it.
Yep.
So does that mean that he knew about it and was the guy who made the call?
Yes, he does. He knows who made the call.
Okay.
But I...
Well, Stan works for us. We can ask him if it's true and find out
Yeah, you can
who made the
have...
call and what the reason for it was.
Yeah, and I just don't think that was anything proper to be doing. Because if Mr. Harrisburg wants to have that building insured for $100 million, that's up to him. If he decides he doesn't want to have it insured, the contents, that's up to him too. All right? There's nothing in our town saying, that he has to insure that building. Okay? I mean, we've done a lot. They did the pump, which is not the town's, it's his pump. But when that was all done last year, there was a Y put in, so that if there was a fire down there, while the sprinkler system was shut down, which should never be, if you want to talk about value to the town, that we'd pull up with a truck, hook a 2.5 line up, and sprinklers are charged, okay? So it's there, that was put in, all right, which was a great thing. We never had that before, all right? In all the years it's been there, nothing. So that's there. That's another way of preventing a major catastrophe down there. We have a hydrant right across the street, so you'd hook a hose up to this, you'd put the hydrant up to the truck. Now we have it all running. Okay, so, anyway.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, that's it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? I do have a few things to sign here.